The day I told my family I was opening a bookstore instead of joining their prestigious law firm, you would have thought I'd announced I was running away to join the circus. We were sitting in the formal dining room of our family estate, the same room where 3 generations of Whitmore lawyers had discussed their cases over dinner. A bookstore. My father's voice dripped with disdain. You're giving up a partnership track position at Whitmore and Associates for a bookstore. I straightened my shoulders, trying to project confidence I didn't entirely feel. Not just any bookstore. I have a vision for something different. My sister Elizabeth, already a junior partner at 28, didn't even try to hide her smirk. Oh, this should be good. Tell us about your vision, Sarah. I took a deep breath. I want to create a space that combines traditional books with modern technology. A place where technology? My father interrupted with a harsh laugh. You majored in English literature. What do you know about technology? That was my father, always ready to remind me of my supposed limitations. He'd never forgiven me for choosing literature over law at Yale, even though I graduated summa cum laude. I've been learning coding, I said quietly, taking online courses. I have ideas about how to enhance the reading experience. Coding? Elizabeth snorted. What's next? Rocket science. My mother, ever the diplomat, tried to smooth things over. Darling, we just want what's best for you. The firm has been in our family for generations. Your grandfather built it from nothing. And I want to build something of my own, I insisted. Something different. With what money? My father demanded. Because if you think you're using your trust fund for this ridiculous venture, I've already used it, I cut in. I bought the old Mason building downtown last week. The silence that followed was deafening. The Mason building was a historic property I'd loved since childhood, with its huge windows and original woodwork. It was also, admittedly, in desperate need of renovation. You spent your entire trust fund on that? That dump. My father's face had turned an alarming shade of red. It's not a dump. It has character, potential. Potential to collapse, Elizabeth muttered. My father stood up, his chair scraping against the hardwood floor. Well, don't come crying to us when this fails. And it will fail, Sarah. The book industry is dying. Amazon has killed independent bookstores. Actually, I started to explain my plans for integrating digital innovation with traditional books. But he held up his hand. I don't want to hear it. You've made your choice. Now you can live with it. That was 6 months ago. Now, standing in my newly renovated bookstore, I let my hands trail along the polished shelves. The Mason building had transformed into something beautiful. Exposed brick walls contrasted with modern lighting. Comfortable reading nooks featured both plush chairs and subtle technological integration. But the heart of my vision sat in a back room, my workshop where I'd been developing something revolutionary. A way to bridge the gap between physical books and digital convenience. The bell above the door chimed, and I looked up to see Elizabeth walking in, designer heels clicking on the hardwood floors. So this is what throwing away a law career looks like, she mused, looking around with exaggerated distaste. At least it doesn't smell moldy anymore. I bit back a retort. Can I help you find something? Dad sent me. One last chance to come to your senses. She pulled out an envelope. A junior associate position. Your own office. All you have to do is admit this was a mistake. I glanced at the envelope, then at my laptop where my latest code was running. The prototype was almost ready. No thanks. Sarah, be reasonable. You've had your little rebellion. But this? She gestured around the store. This is just sad. I counted 3 customers all day. You've been watching my store. Someone has to document the failure. For the family records, she smiled sweetly. Did you know Dad's already taking you out of his will? All that Whitmore legacy going to someone who actually appreciates it. I thought of my mother's pained expressions at family dinners, my father's pointed silence whenever my name came up. 6 months of being treated like a cautionary tale. Thanks for the offer, I said calmly, but I'm good here. Elizabeth shrugged, dropping the envelope on a nearby table. Your funeral. But don't say we didn't try to save you from yourself. After she left, I locked the front door and went to my workshop. The prototype sat on my desk, a sleek device that looked deceptively simple. 6 months of work, countless failed attempts, and finally, it was ready. I picked up my phone and dialed the number I'd been given at last week's tech convention. Hello, Ms. Whitmore, a voice answered. Have you made a decision about our offer? I looked at the prototype, thinking about all the nights I'd spent learning to code, all the doubts I pushed through, all the mockery I'd endured. Yes, I said firmly. I'm ready to talk terms. Excellent. Our team will be there tomorrow morning. Amazon is very interested in your patent. I hung up and smiled, imagining my family's faces when they found out what I'd been developing in my sad little bookstore. My reading revolution device was about to change everything. The next morning, I arrived early to prepare for the meeting. But as I approached the store, I saw my father standing outside, Elizabeth at his side. "What's this about Amazon?" he demanded as I unlocked the door. "Elizabeth saw them mentioned in your calendar when she was here yesterday." Of course she had snooped. "It's none of your concern." "Everything about this family is my concern. Are you selling the store already?" Admitting defeat, I let them follow me inside, neither confirming nor denying anything. Let them think what they wanted. In an hour, they'd learn the truth. Right on schedule, 3 people in suits entered the store. The woman in front stepped forward, hand extended. "Sarah Whitmore. I'm Jennifer Chen, Head of Innovation at Amazon. We're very excited about your reading revolution technology." My father's face froze. Elizabeth's smirk faltered. "Technology?" my father echoed. Jennifer nodded enthusiastically. "The most innovative integration of physical books and digital technology we've seen. The prototype testing results are remarkable." I walked to my workshop, returning with the device. "Shall we begin the demonstration?" As I prepared to show them my invention, I caught a glimpse of my father's face. For the first time in my life, he looked at me with something other than disappointment. But it was too late for that now. I had built something without him, without his approval, without the Whitmore name opening doors. "Ms. Chen," I said, straightening my shoulders, "let me show you how we're going to revolutionize reading." I held the reading revolution device in my hands, aware of every eye in the room fixed upon it. The prototype looked deceptively simple. A slim, elegant frame about the size of a bookmark. The problem with e-readers, I began, is that they try to replace physical books entirely. But millions of readers still prefer the tactile experience of real books. What if we could combine both worlds? I opened a hardcover book and placed the device along its spine. Small sensors embedded in the frame came to life, a soft blue glow emanating from its edges. "The reading revolution doesn't replace books, it enhances them," I explained, watching Jennifer Chen's eyes widen with interest. "The sensors scan and recognize any book instantly, providing digital features while you read the physical copy." I demonstrated how touching any page brought up a holographic overlay with dictionary definitions, translations, author notes, and interactive content. The device synchronized with a smartphone app, allowing readers to save quotes, make digital notes, and share passages without damaging the book. But here's the real breakthrough, I continued, turning to a blank page in my notebook. The text recognition algorithm doesn't just read printed words, it can digitize handwriting in real time. I wrote a sentence and instantly it appeared in the companion app, perfectly formatted and editable. Imagine the applications: students taking notes, writers drafting stories, businesses digitizing documents, all while maintaining the natural feel of writing on paper. Jennifer Chen stepped forward, examining the device closely. And the battery life? Solar-powered with a minimal energy footprint, the frame charges itself from ambient light. Processing power, all cloud-based. The device itself is just sensors and display technology. Everything else happens on Amazon's servers, assuming we move forward with the partnership. My father cleared his throat. "Surely you'll need legal representation for any potential deals." The lawyer in him was already calculating billable hours. "Actually," I smiled, "I've already retained counsel. Morrison and Beck are handling the patent and negotiations." Elizabeth's jaw dropped. Morrison and Beck was our family firm's biggest competitor. Jennifer Chen pulled out a folder. "We've reviewed the patent applications. Frankly, Ms. Whitmore, your technology could transform how people interact with physical books. Amazon is prepared to make an offer." She wrote a number on a piece of paper and slid it across the table. My father, unable to contain himself, peered over my shoulder. I heard his sharp intake of breath. $50 million for the patent rights, plus ongoing royalties and a development position leading the project at Amazon. That's just the initial offer, Jennifer added. We're very eager to work with you. Elizabeth grabbed the paper, her face turning pale. This is impossible. You're an English major. You can't even code. I thought about all those nights learning Python and Java, the online courses, the tutorials, the trial and error. Actually, I can. I just never told you because you never bothered to ask what I was doing. But, Elizabeth stammered. Perhaps, Jennifer interrupted smoothly, we could continue this discussion privately, Miss Whitmore. I nodded. Of course. Dad, Elizabeth, thank you for stopping by. I'm sure you can find your way out. Now wait just a minute. My father started, but I held up my hand. No, you made your position clear 6 months ago. You didn't want to hear about my plans then. You don't get to be part of them now. After they left, the negotiations moved quickly. Jennifer's team was thorough, examining every aspect of the technology. By lunch, we had moved to Morrison and Beck's offices to finalize the details. As the lawyers worked on the contracts, my phone buzzed constantly with messages from family members. Word had spread fast. Mom, darling, we should celebrate as a family tonight. Elizabeth, we need to talk. You can't trust outside lawyers with family business. Dad, I've cleared my schedule. Let's discuss how the firm can help protect your interests. I turned my phone off. Late that evening, after the contracts were signed and the Amazon team had left, I sat alone in my bookstore. The Reading Revolution prototype glowed softly on my desk, the last one I'd owned before production began under Amazon. The bell chimed. I looked up to see my grandfather walking in. Grandpa Jack, what are you doing here? He smiled, easing himself into one of the reading chairs. At 85, he was still sharp as ever. Thought I'd come see this revolutionary technology for myself. I brought the device over, showing him how it worked. His eyes twinkled as he tested each feature. You know, he said finally, I never told anyone this, but I didn't want to be a lawyer either. I stared at him. Grandpa Jack had founded Whitmore and Associates 50 years ago. I wanted to be an architect, he continued. Design buildings, create something new. But my father insisted on law school. He looked around the beautifully renovated Mason building. You did what I couldn't, followed your dream, built something of your own. They all thought I was crazy, I said softly. Sometimes crazy is exactly what you need to be. He pulled out an old envelope. I want you to have this. Inside was a deed. I gasped as I read it. The Sussex Building. But that's your pride and joy. The Sussex Building was the most prestigious office space downtown, home to dozens of high-end law firms, including one of Whitmore and Associates' largest offices. Consider it an investment in your future, he smiled. I hear you might need a bigger space for your technology company. But Dad, the firm, can find new offices. It's time for some changes. He squeezed my hand. Show them what crazy dreamers can do. The next morning, I called a family meeting at my bookstore, not the family estate. They filed in one by one. Mom, Dad, Elizabeth, even my younger brother Michael, who was in law school. Thank you for coming, I began. I have several announcements. I outlined the Amazon deal, the plans for worldwide distribution of Reading Revolution, and my new role as head of the development team. Then I dropped the real bombshell. I'm converting the Sussex Building into the headquarters of Whitmore Innovation Labs. We'll be developing new technologies to bridge the digital divide in education, publishing, and communications. The Sussex Building. My father exploded. That's impossible. The firm's offices have 6 months to relocate. I finished calmly. Grandpa Jack signed over the deed yesterday. Elizabeth sank into a chair. This can't be happening. Oh, it's happening. And one more thing. I'm establishing a scholarship fund for English majors interested in tech development. Because apparently, some people think you can't be both. My father's face had turned an interesting shade of purple. Now see here. No, you see, I cut him off. For years, you've all told me what I couldn't do. You laughed at my dreams, mocked my choices, and bet on my failure. But here's the thing about failure. It's a much better teacher than success. I picked up the Reading Revolution prototype. Every time you doubted me, I worked harder. Every dismissive comment made me more determined. So really, I should thank you. Sarah, my mother tried. We only wanted what was best. What was best for the family name, I corrected. But I've built my own name now, and I did it without the Whitmore legacy. Michael raised his hand tentatively. So, about law school. I smiled at my younger brother. Let me guess. You'd rather be doing something else. He nodded. Computer science, actually. But Dad said, I'll be hiring developers soon. I cut in. Internship applications open next month. Michael's face lit up. Our father looked like he might faint. This is our legacy now, I told them. Not just law books and billing hours, but innovation, creativity, and change. You can either be part of it or watch from the sidelines. Your choice. I walked them to the door, pausing as they filed out. Elizabeth lingered last. I was wrong, she said quietly, about everything. I was jealous of your courage to be different. I studied my sister, always perfect, always following the rules. It's never too late to change course. Even for a stuck-up lawyer? Well, I am going to need good legal counsel for my tech empire. She smiled, a real smile this time. Morrison and Beck isn't the only game in town. No, I agreed. But any lawyer I hire needs to understand one thing. We're building something new here. Something that doesn't fit in old boxes. After they left, I stood in my bookstore, my first creation, my leap of faith. The place they had all laughed at was now the birthplace of a technology revolution. My phone buzzed with a message from Jennifer Chen. Wall Street Journal wants an interview. Ready to tell your story? I looked around at the books lining the shelves, each one waiting to be enhanced by my invention. Stories had always been my passion, first reading them, then selling them, and now transforming how people experience them. Ready, I texted back. The bell chimed again. Grandpa Jack walked in, carrying blueprints of the Sussex building. Thought you might want to see my old architecture sketches, he winked, for inspiration. I hugged him tight. Thank you for believing in me. No, he smiled. Thank you for believing in yourself. Together, we spread the blueprints across my counter, dreamers across generations, planning the next chapter of our story. Outside, the sun set behind the Mason building's restored facade, casting a golden glow through the windows. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving others wrong, it's proving yourself right. My little bookstore had become more than just a place to sell books. It was where I discovered who I really was, what I could really do. And this was just the beginning.